In the year 350 BC, Aristotle, who we commonly refer to as the father of philosophy, biology, and natural science, wrote the Anima, a large treatise in which he speaks extensively about the nature of living things. In his book, Aristotle discusses just 5 senses that we possess as human beings: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And still more than 2,000 years later, in spite of all the scientific and technological progress we've made, we're still taught that we possess just 5 senses. Although the exact number is in dispute, scientists maintain that we actually have between 9 and 21 senses. The dictionary, which is where we should start with a general definition of what a sense is any faculty by which humans and animals perceive stimuli originating from outside or inside the body. So, in other words, it's a body function that serves just a single purpose. It does just one thing. For example, we've all probably bitten into a sour lemon and experienced that taste that it gave us. This is just one example of our senses in action. In addition to the familiar senses that we already are very well aware of, such as taste, we have several others, such as equilibrioception, which is just a fancy word for a sense of balance. Police officers run sobriety tests testing this sense with the walk the line or the finger to nose sobriety test that they give. Nociception is a sense of pain. We have a sense of time, more specifically, a sense of time passing, which children are especially keen to. Scientists haven't quite been able to figure out why that is yet, but we do seem to outgrow it as we get older. Magnetoception, which is a sense of direction, and many others. We should not minimize any of these extra senses, as they are just as important to us in our daily lives. For instance, our sense of balance is tied to fluid in the inner ear. If it's altered, you'll become dizzy and eventually unable to even stand. If you've ever been on a bad carnival ride that disorients you and makes you feel kind of ill and woozy, that would be an example of equilibrioception, or in other words, your sense of balance. Both our sense of temperature and pain were at one time believed to be a simple variation of our touch sense. However, both can be sensed without actually touching an object. Ever put your hand too close to a fire and burned yourself without actually touching it? This would be an example of both thermoception and nociception working. Although severely weak in comparison, we are actually believed to have the same sense of direction that birds and various other animals have and use in migratory patterns. Um, we are said not to hone it to quite the same extent, although studies have shown that we more than likely do have some vague sense of direction. In addition to many scientifically proven senses, some believe in inexplicable extrasensory perceptions, or ESP, um, such as our perceived sixth sense, which we know now isn't actually a sixth sense. But in other words, it's our intuition or our gut feeling. People refer to it as a sixth sense. Premonitions, telepathy, precognition, and clairvoyance are all thought to be ESP senses. To this day, we still look back upon Aristotle for his teachings, and while his contributions to the human race are indisputable, we have come a long way in the last 2 millennia. Hence, we need to look beyond one man's mind and refuse to confine ourselves to just a single definition. Perhaps if we look beyond Aristotle's teachings, we can find that we are capable of many more great things that even the great thinker Aristotle didn't dare dream of.